Okay, you know what it is. It's your boy Kamal Hart on the chart, and I'm going bar by bar. Off the bat, we got a leg up, a breakout, kind of making a test to these highs. Second entry long right in there for the nice signal bar. Um, it gives you a double top, big red reversal bar. The second entry short off that signal, but it's going into that EMA a little bit too soon. And everything's a little bit bullish, just a little early. Even though there's kind of a range, like if I don't want to make it more complicated than it is. But there's kind of like a breakout of this area from the overnight. But I, when I was trading, I wasn't even really looking at it like that, to be honest. So not into this short, but I'm into this, right? This it's a failed second entry short. Once it broke above, go long right there. Once it breaks above on a limit or a stop, and your stop goes below these bars, you're off to the races. When it does that, though, um, you know, I would look at this and see where that gets me. Gets me just a few ticks below. Just on some range expansion stuff, um, and see if prices are affected by anything. I wouldn't really consider this resistance yet, but I just wanted to take a measurement. And it is, and that's kind of the thing, what I'm talking about at least, is when I saw this red bar after making this expansion, I was almost ready to go short right there. But it's not that bearish of a signal bar. It's a new high. It's aggressive. Probably shouldn't be my first trade of the day. So um, I skipped this one, and that's exactly why. So we're waiting. Um, Off this double bottom, that's the higher low, and then this is the failed second entry short. It's a little close to the highs, a little aggressive, but it's there. I'm going to take that range line off because it's kind of just getting in the way, but it's there. So, and I'm not sure if it gives you enough. 3,200. Yeah, you get enough, but that's why it wasn't that great of a setup. Now you're getting this double top, getting some stack up right here. Um, a more helpful range is going to be this in the near term. Something in there. Got to break above. And then a big impulse move down. That's what we want to see. So we got that going there. And hopefully we'll get a breakout and some sort of retest or a trend down, something like that. Um, and so here, that's the first entry, nothing that you want to sell yet, but I sold that right there. It's important to set it up that you can try to exit before getting to these lows. Um, I entered on a stop, so that I kind of a mistake when I look back. Uh, but there's enough momentum where I was expecting a decent move, or I was expecting me to at least break this low. It's only a single low. It's not like a double bottom or something. So um, took it a little bit, and then it broke below. I got in there. My scalp was out immediately, and then I held the swing. I hadn't yet moved to 2 points, so my stop is still up here. And then it gave me that push kind of lower, and then my stop went to break even +1. Then we got this engulfing bar. Now I was thinking this might be a good place to exit, but I didn't. I just let it play out, and I got stopped out. Break even +1 on the swing, and that was it for that one. So, but to be honest, most of these lines aren't really there yet. Um, it looks like it kind of now looks like a range. So I don't think that line would have been there, like off these highs, just from where this congestion area was. Maybe that's the highs, and then I'll just take a middle from there. Say it's somewhere in there. Somewhere in there. So that, if I was seeing a range, the range I'm using, um, it's okay because it's a leg up, a breakout, move to a new high, leg down, breakout, move to new low, uh, below, above. Now we're below. It looks like a range. It's just the highs aren't that clear in my opinion. I could kind of see the lows just from what we had up in here and stuff, but this is what I'd be working with for now. So we're getting a kind of like this push up, a reversal higher right there. It's the breakout. See if we're gonna get the retest. Here's a first entry long. It's a good signal bar, but you're in the middle of all this stuff. The irony is that you are going long on the low side of the range, so probability is in your favor, but I wouldn't take that. This is the failed second entry short once this signal bar failed, and the same reason why we didn't go long here is why you should not have gone short there, even though it was a second entry short to that low. First of all, the context is higher. We already have our lines prepped for something to move higher. Before I take this line off, prices need to be moving past my origin point, or there needs to be a reversal pattern in here. So I'm not even thinking about shorts. But if you took that, you got to remember so many things, right? There are like 5 things that let you know this is not the short. This is not the short you're looking for. Bar, it sets up, this trade sets up on the lower side of a range. On the lower side, we want to be buying on this side. We want to be selling on this side. So right there, it's on the wrong side. This bar opens and closes inside of this bar, which opens and closes inside of this bar. So that means this is just like a little bit of congestion, like the thing we drew up here. I'll take this down. Bang. Bang. Those lines aren't really that straight, but use your imagination. It's a zone. You're selling the breakout short of what would be the congestion. No bueno. And then, of course, the context that we already have in play is a bullish move. So not the place to go short. And even though this is, when this reverses, I was a little bit tempted to go long because I'm expecting a retest of this high. It sets up on the wrong side of the range. That's really the only thing wrong with it. So I kind of came to the conclusion today that when selecting trades, especially in ranges, but in general, it's kind of a game of there's going to be a couple things that are right and a couple things that are wrong. And in your head weighing out, okay, if there are 3 things right and 1 thing wrong and it's kind of minor, I'm going to just take the trade anyway. But if I'm looking at a setup and 3 things are wrong and 3 things are right, and they're pretty crucial or significant, skip that trade. And then obviously, if more things are wrong than right, you probably should walk away from your computer if you're considering taking that trade. So it's a judgment thing, and you just learn to see it and learn, kind of get a relationship with how it moves, and from there can kind of take your best guess on probabilities. So as you can see, we're kind of bouncing back and forth on each side of that EMA, above it, then we're below it, above it, coming back below it. There's probably a like a tighter range in here. There's probably something in here. If you really, want to use that. Then you get this breakout, waiting. Here's a lower high short, and it's on the right side in terms of going lower, but I don't like how it didn't touch the high sides yet. So if this is to go lower, I want to wait for a reversal pattern so I know for sure that there's enough people going this way. And this lower high is an engulfing bar. It looks really good, but when they set up like this and it breaks the signal bar, for whatever reason, they're not as reliable. I prefer it when they don't break the signal bar and it leaves like a little lip or something like that. And you can go short under that. So I would have skipped this. When I watched it, I did skip it. That's my thoughts on that one. And then here you get a second entry long to the highs, and off this congestion area that we had, the little smaller one, it's kind of a breakout pullback. It's a good signal bar. Some traps probably in there. It's on the wrong side of the range, so I'm going to say this is really aggressive. But when I saw it, I mean, I liked it. And part of me also, if you want to look at maybe through those highs, there's maybe a little trend channel. It's not a great fit off the tops. Maybe just up through there. So there's potentially a trend channel that's working higher right there. So, and then other thing, I might move these up because we haven't been there in a long time. Maybe to there. That's our most recent one. I don't know if that's going to help us get in this trade. Yeah, because my midline is still down here. The midline is still somewhere down in here. It's funny, it's probably right over that. Yeah, it's right over where this smaller. That's how you know that once your lines confirm and overlay on top of each other, really good sign. But yeah, for all those reasons, I'm considering taking that trade, and I put my limit order in once it broke above. But what you're gonna see is that, and when it did break above, it never ticked back to get me into my limit order. Never ticked back. So when it closed up there, I was like, yeah, forget it. I'm not gonna try to chase it. Man, and there it went. Yeah, there it went without me, but it's okay. It'd been nice though. So we're kind of had this breakout, really big sell bar. Here's a lower high. I would consider going short there. Even though we have this trend channel, once we get to the other side of a range, I ignore it. If it's not like a skinny channel like this and it breaks out and does its thing, if you use these broad channels, by the time it gets to the range, the highs of the range, it rarely breaks out and does the retest thing. So it just kind of helps you get to the highs, and then once you're here, I would go right back to the range rules. Um, so for all those reasons, I'm into that. Takes a little bit, but it breaks below. And then I entered just on a stop. I really wanted to see, this was a sim trade. I really wanted to see, I never do stops because I like getting that tick, but this was obviously a situation where if my target is down here, you know, a, a single tick isn't going to be the main thing. And plus, I was doing other things by this point in the day. So I just put the stop and then I went and was working around the studio and stuff. So I just walked back to my screen and saw it had triggered, and the scalp was easily exited. Then from here, I'm just watching to see if we can keep the hold. And then we got that move lower and a break above. At this point, my stop is still up here. I want to see prices move 2 points 25 cent before my stop comes to break even plus 1. So my stop is still at the highs, and then we get the that move. So now my stops break even plus 1. We're hitting this midline. That's one target, but really my target is down here. I'm trying to see if we're going to come all the way. And then we get this reversal bar, and we got the stack up, and that right there is a double bottom, higher low off the middle, and it's similar to what happened with this other trade where what was our middle, it bounced off it. So once I saw it set up, that's sort of like it's going to bounce off the middle thing. I had my stop, I think, at the highs or just one tick back, and it broke above. Yeah, and then I had my stop just one tick back on some of those closes. I was able to at least get out. I was thinking it, might keep going higher. It pulls back a little bit and then goes lower. This is also what I mean by the whole. First of all, there was a reversal pattern. Um, it looks like I actually did miss a trade. I'll go back and explain that one. Because I was already in my trade from up here, I didn't really think to mention the trade that was in here, but there's just a failed second entry long once prices break below. It depends on how this bar set up. If it broke above, then broke below, you might have been entered down here, and which is the same entry as this entry, so that's really no difference. But the real difference is that if it broke below, then broke above, you wouldn't have been in yet because it needs to break above then below. So yeah, so you really probably didn't get stopped out no matter how you entered, but it just looks kind of weird. But the signal, yeah, once it breaks below there, you would have been in short. So I can put a it's on the right. It's on the right side of the range. You're going short on the high side. There's a reversal pattern after a new high. Room to the midline. If I wasn't already in, I'd probably get in right there. So off this trend line, though, you can see that we had the break and then a move lower. We can get see if we can get like some sort of measured move going, which is just the other side of the range. But you get a second entry short, and this is another sim trade I took a little aggressive because now it's just it's just too much in the middle. It's the same thing. It's just too close to the middle. You need to be going short after it's coming off the lows. It hit the middle and now it's bouncing. It's not. It's no longer time for shorts. It needs to be touching the highs coming down. But anyway, I took this second entry short just off these lows right there. I held it and I got a little push down. I could have exited, I just wanted to see what would happen. And then once I saw this bar, it's kind of a second entry long up there. But none of those are trades that I'm trying to take at this point. So when it stopped me out, I just got stopped out a tick above right there. And the irony of it is that once I get stopped out 2 or 3 ticks, it then shoots down to where I was thinking. That happens sometimes. It's just part of the game. But it's starting to get a little like congested and messy, so I'm sitting on my hands. It's a nice looking bar, but it's not. It's kind of a double bottom to there, but probably pass it up. Here's a second entry short to these lows. It feels aggressive. We haven't really touched the highs, and everything's making higher highs, higher lows. I'll probably skip it. And then there you get, see there that this is the trade you should have taken if you would have skipped it. It's that one when that bar, because it would have closed and looked like this. Then you could have just went short right there. Just matching tops. That's more conviction that it's going to move lower. Get just enough for your scalp. But that was at like 12:12, so you probably wouldn't have even had time. It really slowed down. It wasn't that great of a day actually through the morning. I took a few trades. Like this one was on my live account, and these ones were just sim trades. But all my other trades were on gold futures and stuff. So that's what I saw today. I just really wanted to get in depth because these are good days to realize that they're not that fun to trade, to be honest. It just moves so slow. It's kind of boring. They're still predictable and you can still make good money. So I'm not saying that you can't make money on these days. I'm just saying it's not as interesting. Um, but yeah, a really good day to study. You know, these tight ranges can get tricky up in the middle, like in there. But if you stick to the outsides, you'll do pretty good. So tomorrow, I don't know. It's probably gonna be really slow. But if it ticks, I'll probably chart it. It'll be shorter, I guess. But until then, y'all stay encouraged. I actually hit a really big trading goal of mine today. Very happy, very happy actually about that. Almost forgot. But you know, we keep pushing forward. This is a nice view, but it's not the peak. So on we go. But definitely, this shit is working, and that makes me very happy. So I will see y'all tomorrow. Until then, peace.